The World Economic Forum's report Global Risks 2011 finds that 3 clusters of risks are particularly important for stakeholders to understand and respond to in the coming decade. The third cluster we examine is the water-food-energy nexus. At its core, this nexus consists of 4 risks: water security, food security, energy security, and climate change. However, it links strongly to global governance failures, economic disparity, and geopolitical conflict. Threats to water security, food security, and energy security are chronic impediments to economic growth and social stability. They are also intimately linked. Food production requires water, water extraction and distribution requires energy, and energy production requires water. Food prices are also highly sensitive to the cost of energy inputs via fertilizers, irrigation, transport, and processing. Climate change and environmental pressures and growing economies and populations both exacerbate this nexus, with the global population growing to approximately 7.7 billion people in the next decade and rapidly rising consumption per capita. The water-food-energy nexus is a critical global risk that fundamentally threatens human, social, and political security. There are significant trade-offs between these 3 resources, making risk response incredibly difficult. Unintended consequences are common, as policymakers seek to solve one part of the nexus and end up worsening another. However, 4 levers exist to address this nexus. Integrated multi-stakeholder resource planning, with a long-term outlook, could help governments and other stakeholders understand the real impact of policies and actions across the nexus. Regionally focused infrastructure development could enhance resilience by encouraging cooperative investments and resource use that prolongs the life of existing sources of water, food, and energy. Market-led resource pricing, which includes environmental externalities, could ensure that the true cost of resources is reflected in their price, lowering demand and increasing investment in efficiency. Finally, technological and financial innovation could prolong supply as well as provide financial resilience over time for those engaged in resource production, such as poor farmers. The Forum is actively tackling this nexus via its new initiative, WRG Phase 2, under the supervision of the Global Agenda Council on Water Security. You can download Global Risks 2011, explore the underlying survey data, and see the Forum's other work in the area of risk response on our website.